April 2026 did not simply bring a change of season. It also brought names that made fans stop and feel a deep sense of sorrow. Which celebrities left us during this month? In today's video, we will remember the stars who passed away in April 2026, in looking back at the lives and the moments that made them unforgettable. American television remembers Gwen Farrell Adair through her recurring appearances as several nurses in MASH, along with roles in Starsky and Hutch and films of the 1970s. Born in 1932, she later broke barriers outside, acting as a pioneering female boxing referee. Farrell Adair passed away from natural causes in Sherman Oaks in 2026, at 93, leaving a remarkable legacy across entertainment, sport, and family business. Outlaw country carried the unmistakable voice of David Allan Coe, the singer-songwriter behind The Ride and the writer of Take This Job and Shove It. Born in 1939, he built a complicated but influential career shaped by raw storytelling and a fiercely independent image. Coe died in 2026 at 86, leaving songs that remain deeply woven into American country music. Maltese broadcasting found one of its early pioneers in Mary Gretsch, a television presenter and actress who became a familiar face when Malta television was still young. Born in 1937, she also appeared in stage and screen productions, earning affection across generations of viewers. After a long illness, Gretsch passed away peacefully in 2026 at 88, surrounded by family, closing a life remembered for resilience, warmth, and public service. The British folk scene carried the soulful voice of Beverley Martin, whose recordings with John Martin included And Storm, Bringer, and The Road to Ruin. Born in 1947, she also developed her own songwriting path, drawing on blues, folk, and deeply personal experience. Martin passed away in 2026 at 79, leaving music that later generations continued to rediscover. Girl group pop history would be incomplete without Nedra Talley Ross, the final surviving original member of the Ronettes. Born in 1946, she sang alongside her cousins Ronnie Spector and Estelle Bennett, helping shape the sound and style behind classics such as Be My Baby. Ross passed away peacefully at home in 2026 at 80. Close to her family, closing an important chapter in American pop history. Chicago theater lost one of its dependable character actors with Matt DeCaro, whose screen work included Prison Break, Richie Rich, and U.S. Marshals. Born in 1956, he remained active on stage until his final days, performing in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom shortly before his passing. Heart failure brought his life to a close at his Chicago home in 2026, when he was 70. Reality television audiences knew Daryl Sheets as the Gambler, the bold and instantly recognizable bidder from Storage Wars. Born in 1958, he appeared throughout the show's long run, and later opened an antiques business in Arizona. Sheets passed away in 2026 at 67 under deeply sensitive personal circumstances, leaving family, friends, and viewers remembering the larger-than-life personality he brought to every auction. Disco music carried the distinctive voice of Eveline Lenton, the French singer, songwriter, and producer, best known as the leader of Belle Epoque. Born in 1945, she helped define the group's international sound through songs such as Miss Broadway and its energetic dance floor style. Lenton's journey ended in 2026 at 80, closing a colorful chapter in European disco history. American classical music found one of its boldest communicators in Michael Tilson Thomas, the Grammy-winning conductor, pianist, and composer who led the San Francisco Symphony for 25 years. Born in 1944, he also founded the New World Symphony and mentored generations of musicians. After living with glioblastoma since 2021, Thomas passed away at home in 2026 at 81, surrounded by loved ones and leaving an extraordinary musical legacy. The Osmonds found their early creative leader in Alan Osmond, the eldest performing brother, who helped guide the family group from television appearances to international pop success. Born in 1949, he remained closely connected with music, faith, and family even after stepping away from the stage. After decades living with multiple sclerosis, Osmond passed away at his Utah home in 2026 at 76, surrounded by his wife and 8 sons. Nashville music history carries the unmistakable guitar work of Wayne Moss, a session legend who played on Roy Orbison's Oh, Pretty Woman, Dolly Parton's Jolene, and Bob Dylan's I Want You. Born in 1938, he also became part of Nashville's respected A-team of studio musicians. Moss passed away in 2026 at 88. After reports said he had lived with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, leaving riffs that remain woven into classic American recordings. South African television lost a pioneering figure with Cynthia Shang, the actress and model remembered for Muvhango, Shaka Zulu, and a career that opened doors for later generations. Born in 1949, she also became the first Black South African woman to represent her country at Miss World. After a short illness, Shang passed away in KwaZulu-Natal in 2026 at 76, leaving a legacy shaped by elegance, perseverance, and cultural importance. Daytime television and science fiction cinema both gave Patrick Muldoon memorable chapters, from Austin Reed in Days of Our Lives to Richard Hart in Melrose Place and Xander Barkalow in Starship Troopers. Born in 1968, he moved easily between television, film, production, and music. Muldoon's life ended unexpectedly in 2026 at 57 after a myocardial infarction, with additional cardiovascular factors later noted in official records. Rock music would sound different without Dave Mason, the English guitarist and songwriter, who co-founded Traffic and wrote the enduring classic Feelin' Alright. Born in 1946, he also created solo favorites such as We Just Disagree, and contributed to recordings connected with major artists, including Jimi Hendrix. Mason passed away peacefully at his Nevada home in 2026 at 79, leaving a catalog filled with melody, musicianship, and lasting influence. A familiar face across American television, Riff Hutton built a remarkably steady career through Doogie Howser, MD, JAG, and General Hospital. Born in 1952, he appeared in nearly 200 television roles and also became respected within the voice-over community. After a 13-month battle with glioblastoma, Hutton passed away at his Pasadena home in 2026 at 73, remembered by colleagues for humility, generosity, and quiet professionalism. French cinema carried a rare elegance through Nathalie Baye, the acclaimed actress whose career included Day for Night, The Return of Martin Guerre, and Catch Me If You Can. Born in 1948, she won 4 César Awards and appeared in around 100 films. Baye passed away at her Paris home in 2026 at 77 after complications from Lewy body dementia, leaving behind performances admired for their subtlety and emotional truth. Radio mornings felt warmer and funnier because of Bob Kevoian, the longtime host who helped turn The Bob and Tom Show into a nationally recognized program. Born in 1950, he spent more than 3 decades bringing humor, conversation, and an unmistakable personality to listeners. After a 3-year journey with gastric cancer, Kevoian died in 2026 at 75, closing an important chapter in American radio history. Country music storytelling would be incomplete without Don Schlitz, the Hall of Fame songwriter behind The Gambler. Forever and ever, amen. And when you say, nothing at all. Born in 1952, he turned ordinary emotions into songs that reached millions of listeners through some of Nashville's greatest voices. A sudden illness ended Schlitz's journey at a Nashville hospital in 2026, when he was 73, leaving lyrics that remain woven into country music history. Jamaican music found a warm and distinctive baritone in Ernie Smith, the singer-songwriter known for Ride on Sammy, Bend Down, Life is Just for Living. Born in 1945, he brought a smooth, thoughtful voice to reggae and popular music for decades. Following a surgical procedure, Smith experienced multiple cardiac incidents and passed away in 2026 at 80, only weeks before his next birthday. Soul blues carried the honest, lived-in voice of Barbara Carr, the St. Louis singer, whose recordings included Good Woman, Go Bad, Street Woman, and Keep the Fire Burning. Born in 1941, she began singing in church and later earned recognition as a respected female blues performer. Carr passed away peacefully in Illinois in 2026 at 85, surrounded by loved ones, leaving a catalogue shaped by strength, experience, and unmistakable soul. Celtic music carried the ethereal voice of Moya Brennan, the singer and harpist who helped bring Clannad to audiences around the world. Born in 1952, she became closely linked with Theme from Harry's Game, while her solo work added another chapter to a 5-decade career. After living with pulmonary fibrosis, Brennan left peacefully at her Donegal home in 2026 at 73, surrounded by loved ones. British stage training gave John Nolan the depth that later shaped his work in Person of Interest, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, and Dunkirk. Born in 1938, he moved across theatre, television, and film with quiet authority, while also appearing in projects connected with his nephews, Christopher and Jonathan Nolan. Nolan died in 2026 at 87. Jazz innovation found a fearless architect in Mike Westbrook, the pianist, composer, and bandleader who helped reshape modern British jazz. Born in 1936, he blended jazz with poetry, theatre, classical music, and rock, while creating an extensive catalogue with his wife and collaborator, Kate Westbrook. His final chapter closed peacefully at the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital in 2026, when he was 90. A haunting screen presence made Angela Pleasence especially memorable across British horror, period drama, and television. Born in 1941, she appeared in Symptoms, From Beyond the Grave, Les Miserables, Coronation Street, and Doctor Who, while building a career distinct from that of her father, Donald Pleasence. She passed away in 2026 at 84, leaving more than 5 decades of quietly admired work. Bulgarian music and poetry found one of their most beloved voices in Mihail Belchev. Born in 1946, the singer-songwriter and poet became known for deeply emotional songs, including Youth is Fading, Don't Grow Old, My Love, and Friendship. Belchev passed away in 2026 at 79, only months before his 80th birthday, leaving behind melodies and verses closely woven into Bulgarian cultural memory. Classical music carried the refined vision of Álvaro Casuto, one of Portugal's most respected conductors and composers. Born in Porto in 1938, he founded the Algarve Orchestra, promoted Portuguese music internationally, and created an extensive, recorded legacy. Casuto's long journey reached a peaceful close at his home in Guincho, Cascais, in 2026, when he was 87, leaving a lasting contribution to Portuguese musical life. Documentary filmmaking gave Ramon Gieling a distinctive place in Dutch cinema. Born in Utrecht in 1954, he explored music, art, sport, and human emotion through films such as Johan Cruyff, En un momento dado, Over Canto, and Erbarme dich. Gieling died in 2026 at 71, closing a creative life shaped by curiosity, visual imagination, and more than 4 decades of storytelling. South African music carried the warm, steady voice of Albert Mazibuko, a longtime member of Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Born in 1948, he joined the group in 1969 and helped bring its harmonies to global audiences, including through Paul Simon's Graceland. After a short illness, Mazibuko passed away in 2026 at 77, leaving behind decades of music shaped by peace, love, and harmony. Television audiences remember Dee Freeman through The Young and The Restless, Sisters, and many character roles across American drama. Born in 1959, she also served 6 years in the United States Marine Corps. Before building her acting career, Freeman passed away peacefully in 2026 at 66, after facing stage 4 lung cancer, remembered by loved ones as a force of nature, with remarkable strength. The groove of American soul would not sound the same without James Gadson. the drummer behind classics by Bill Withers, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and many others. Born in 1939, he gave songs like Lean on Me and Use Me their unmistakable rhythmic foundation. Gadson left the world in 2026 at 86 after recent health challenges, including surgery and a serious fall, leaving a beat that musicians will continue to study for generations. April 2026 now feels like a page marked with several names we will not read in quite the same way again. Their stories remind us that appreciation should not always wait until a farewell, because the people who bring meaning to our lives deserve to be valued while their work is still close to us. Which name surprised you the most in today's video? Please hit like and share your thoughts in the comments below.